In other news, we made a mistake. That's a quote, not from us. That's the apology from the National Archives after admitting that it had blurred images in a recent display. It tweeted yesterday, quote, "We are and have always been completely committed to preserving our archival holdings without alteration," unquote. That is a change from last week when the archive said that it had made multiple changes to a photo of the 2017 Women's March. It blurred signs that were critical of President Trump. It also blurred words that referenced women's anatomy. The original photo is on the left side, and you can see the edited version on the right. I am now joined by CNN presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. And good morning to you.
Good morning.
I have to get your reaction first and foremost, just as a man of history, what you thought when you heard about this.
I could not believe the National Archives did such a thing. It's such a venerable institution. We all trust it. It's the depository of our national heirlooms and leavings. And here it is doctoring photos to make Donald Trump look good. I mean, to the idea of you take the Women's March of 2017, which was largely anti-Trump march, and start changing signs. Like one sign said, "God hates Trump," and they just blurred out the word Trump, so the protesters' sign says "God hates." That was replicated many times. It was a very idiotic idea to have altered that photograph, but I'm pleased that a retraction has just come our way.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that this was, mandated, say, by someone, or do you think that this was an agency that just sort of self-censored?
I think it's an agency or someone within the agency that's self-censored. But, we are living in the age of Donald Trump, and if you work in government, you're very fearful of a vengeful Donald Trump. So it may very well be they just wanted to please him, that we at all costs can't let Donald Trump see that we have a photograph in our display that says something negative about him. We have to remember this is a president that we're dealing with that on his inauguration lied about his crowd size and blew up at the Interior Department because they weren't showing a photo that he wanted. So this idea of airbrushing anything negative about Donald Trump out of our current government institutions is starting to happen more and more, and it's all the reason why we have to say knock it off ever louder.
Well, and what troubled me was that, this is not so much a posturing for the moment or changing for the moment. This is for history. The National Archives preserves this for a nation and for the people of that nation. I know they're an independent agency, but, they're keeping the record of our nation. And if they're somehow distorting that record, it distorts the history of our country.
Absolutely. I have a book called The Nixon Tapes. And I just found out in China, my book they printed it in Chinese and they censored out all sorts of things without even telling me. Here we have in America doing something that China does. Oh, this doesn't look flattering, this photograph to President Trump. Let's change the photo and present it to the American people. In the archives, this is our tax dollars. It's the United States government trying to hide and alter history. There may be people that are angry at those signs. There are people at that march that were angry, but we don't airbrush war documents from Midway or cover up, pictures from the bombing of Oklahoma City. History can be ugly and messy. If they're going to use that photo, then use it and use it properly without that kind of ridiculous doctoring.
Douglas Brinkley with the perspective of history. We appreciate it greatly.